What's up, guys? Welcome to the line change. Now, I've been trying to get this video up since Saturday, but I've been having some connection issues with StreamYard. I don't think it's an actual issue with my connection. I think it's actually a StreamYard connection, or rather issue. As I noticed, Clay the other night mentioned a very similar issue. So hopefully I can get this video out there. If you haven't guessed by now from the thumbnail, we're talking about Offseason Centre Trade Target for the Vancouver Canucks. And it's a not very popular one. And of course, it's Trevor Zegras. As you can tell by my reaction, I'm not a big fan of this, but it's news. It's something for us to talk about, something for us to sink our teeth in. Maybe by the time I finish this video, maybe I'll have a different opinion on Zegras. But going into this, my hopes are not very high on us acquiring Zegras, no matter how cheap he might be compared to some others. But we're going to talk about it. We're going to break down this article from our friends at Canucks Army. But before I do that, I'm going to give a big thank you and shout out to my sponsor, Gassy Jack Art, the guy who made those incredible that incredible artwork you see right there. Or I wonder if it would be on the other side. But anyway, you can see it in the background. So I want to thank my sponsor, Gassy Jack Art. Gassy Jack Art produces hockey prints on archival paper and canvas that have been rated to last over 100 years. The product range features a variety of players from different teams, including the Edmonton Oilers, Montreal Canadiens, Toronto Maple Leafs, Calgary Flames, Colorado Avalanche, as well as your Vancouver Canucks and more. They also have some non-hockey related prints, such as baseball prints, wrestling prints, some prints from films as well. So go ahead and check them out at GassyJackArt.com. They also currently have their end of season sale going on, where you can add 4 prints to your cart and 2 of them will be free when you go to check out. These prints range from $20 to $25, so you're getting a steal of a deal here, paying $40 for 4 prints instead of $80. Definitely take advantage of this deal while you can before the sale ends. You can also find Gassy Jack Art on Instagram at Gassy Jack Art. These prints are so incredibly detailed. I myself have about 10 prints and intend on continuing to add my collection, so go ahead and check it out. Once again, go to GassyJackArt.com and get your prints today. There we go. All right. So once again, a big thank you to my sponsor, Gassy Jack Art. I intend on getting some more prints, as I mentioned. I'm looking forward to that. And Jack, if you see this, wouldn't mind being surprised with some prints as well. Prints that I'm not expecting, like those 2 additional prints that you gave me last time. Once again, thank you very much for that. But let's go ahead and talk about our topic of this video, Trevor Zegras being an off-season center trade target. Now, this article is written by Stefan Roget from Canucks Army. And it goes as follows. As the Vancouver Canucks and their fans look around the league with envy at various other forwards, they've got to keep something in mind. Zegras is always greener on the other side. Sorry, but we knew this particular offseason center trade target might prove controversial, so we wanted to lighten the mood up front with a terrible pun. Trevor Zegras of the Anaheim Ducks is a mercurial player, both in terms of consistency of his play and in the opinions of others regarding that play. He's gone from EA Sports cover boy to someone without a clear-cut future with the club that drafted him, and in short order. All that being said, he remains one of the most talented forwards available on the trade market this summer, and perhaps might even be one of the cheapest. In fact, Zegras may have just become a little more available. The Ducks acquired Chris Kreider from the New York Rangers on Thursday, loading up their burgeoning forward roster a little further. Kreider joins an Anaheim group that already includes the youth of Leo Carlson, Mason McTavish, Cutter Gauthier, and the more veteran presence of Troy Terry, Ryan Strome, Frank Petrano, and Alex Killorn. With prospects like Bennett Senecki, I probably mispronounced that, and Sam Colangelo on the way too, it's all starting to look a little overstuffed. Then there's Zegras. He's gone from seasons of 61 and 65 points in his first 2 full NHL campaigns, 2 seasons of just 15 and 31 games, and 32 points in 57 games, with no gap in between. It might seem like Zegras has been around for longer, but he's about to enter his 6th NHL season. Nobody really knows what to make of him yet. It's the kind of situation where we typically use the phrase change of scenery, and Anaheim is stocked up well enough that Zegras is in danger of losing further opportunity, which only reduces his value further and decreases the odds of him turning it around. Combine that truth with a general perception that Zegras' attitude and commitment levels have got in the way of his progress, and you end up with a player that the Ducks could be looking to cash in on now, before it's potentially too late to garner a return based on Zegras' one-time potential. But are the Canucks the right buyer for this distressed asset? Let's take a look at the player himself. The most important thing to keep in mind with Zegras is that he's just 24 years old and will remain so for the majority of the 2025-26 season. Zegras was drafted out of the USHL at 9th overall in 2019 and spent a single season with BU, for those that do not know, Boston University, in 2019-2020 before moving on to the pros. He split the 2020-21 season between Anaheim and San Diego of the AHL. With the Gulls, he managed 21 points in 17 games, an impressive stat line for a teenage rookie pro. He managed 24 games in Anaheim that year, as well as scoring 13 points in 24 games, while retaining his Calder eligibility for the following season. The 2021-22 season was Zegras' first full season with the Ducks, and he came out gangbusters. An end result of 23 goals and 61 points in 75 games definitely made Zegras stand out. He was nominated for the Calder, but lost out to Mo Seider of the Detroit Red Wings. But that offseason, Zegras received a different honor in the form of the NHL 23 cover, shared with the newest PWHL Vancouver star, Sarah Nurse. Zegras' sophomore year might not have been a major step forward, but it at least wasn't a step back. He maintained his health and offensive output, notching another 23 goals and 65 points, this time in 81 games. Then came the turn. Zegras' 2022-23 season ended with a lower body injury that no doubt hampered his offseason plans, but not the Ducks' plans to sign him to a 3-year, $5.75 million AAV bridge deal. Unfortunately for both sides, it wasn't too long into the 2023-24 season that Zegras suffered another lower body injury that kept him out of the lineup a little longer than a month, his first major injury. Then he was only back on the ice for a few weeks before a broken ankle took him out again, this time for longer than 2 months. In the end, Zegras would play just 31 games that year with six goals and 15 points. His most recent 2024-25 could be considered a rebound of sorts, but not a complete rebound. Once again, a lower body injury, this time to his knee, kept Zegras out for almost 2 months. He managed 57 games, but just 12 goals and 32 points, both a far cry from his rookie and sophomore numbers, and definitely not the kind of stat line to get EA Sports' attention. That's where we find ourselves in the present moment. Zegras is about to begin the final year of that $5.75 million extension. He's still young enough to be an RFA when it expires next summer, but it's looking less and less like he'll still be a Duck when that time comes around. Will he be a Canuck instead? Despite the inconsistency at play, there's not much mystery about what type of player Zegras is. We refer to trade targets as skilled or talented fairly frequently, but when we use those terms in reference to Zegras, we really mean them. This is a truly high-skill individual in the same lane that Alex Kovalev used to occupy. If NHL hockey didn't involve defense, it's been said that Zegras could be one of the NHL's greatest. It's getting consistent results against NHL defenses, which has proven tricky. Zegras' size is fine enough at 6 foot, though he could still stand to add some muscle. His skating is good, if not great, but Zegras' calling card will always be that almost unparalleled creativity with the puck, which could and has translated into Zegras being a truly unique playmaker. He's got hands, is what we're saying. Those hands don't go away just because of a couple of lower body injuries and some down years. The skill remains, but then so do all those downsides to Zegras, like his play away from the puck and whispers of his too casual approach to the game. Let's take a look at the fit. Usually in these articles, we talk about the cost before we talk about the fit, but we've switched it up this time for one simple reason. There's a debate to be had about whether or not Zegras is worth any cost to the Canucks. No doubt some of you reading this already have him in the do not acquire column due to his established reputation. I'm one of them. On the one hand, Zegras has spent as much time on the wing in the last couple of seasons as he has at center, despite that being his natural position. If the Canucks were to trade for him, they'd almost certainly be doing so with the intention of playing him at 2C, so they'd first have to be confident about him returning to that position. For our money, we'll note that his best NHL years came as a center and hope that he can get back to that. For his part, Zegras has indicated that he does not enjoy playing on the wing and would prefer a move back to center. One more reason he's probably fine being traded away from Anaheim and their abundance of pivots. Zegras doesn't profile as a Rick Tocchet sort of player, which raises an obvious question about how well he'd get on with Adam Foote. But at the same time, if a change of scenery trade also serves as a bit of a wake-up call and inspires Zegras to do some learning, this is a coaching staff that can definitely assist him on the defensive side of his play. The 24-year-old would certainly make for an injection of outright scoring skill, something the Canucks are relatively short on, especially with Brock Boeser still set to depart, as well as Pius Suter, it's looking like. We worry that Zegras, being more of a playmaker, isn't necessarily a fit for the wingers the Canucks have on hand, who also tend to make plays more than they directly score. But we do like the potential puck-handling combo of Zegras and Connor Garland, and we could imagine him making for a great rookie line mate for a sniper like Jonathan Lekkerimäki, permitting we don't trade Lecky as well, as I do have a bit of a thought that Lekkerimäki might be on the trading block. I mean, he has been scratched for a few games now. Is that a possible sign that he might be traded? Who knows? Zegras could be just what the Canucks' anemic power play ordered to. The salary is definitely something the Canucks can accommodate, and unless Zegras turns it around in a major way, they don't have to worry too much about a pay raise. If that happens, it's a good problem. That's the central issue all the same. For Zegras to be any sort of fit in Vancouver, and especially for him to constitute any sort of upgrade on the center depth behind EP40, Filipino, Aturatu, and Teddy Bluger, Zegras is going to need to bounce back, if not all the way to his rookie greatness, then at least closer to that standard than his current rate of play. Certain past versions of Zegras would be a great fit for the Canucks. The question is, which Zegras shows up? Let's take a look at the cost. Here we reach an interesting little mini debate. Is Zegras currently worth the Canucks' first round pick, slated at 15th overall? The gut reaction is definitely no. That's my reaction as well. I would not trade the 15th overall pick, first round pick, for Zegras. Absolutely not. Zegras was once drafted at 9th overall himself, but these last two seasons had to have depreciated his value considerably. There's a real risk in trading an asset as good as a mid-round first for a player with this many question marks. There's a real concerted belief in Zegras, especially his ability to turn it around. Then it could definitely be argued that the 15th overall is a fair straight-up return, but making that determination would require some due diligence, and it's hard to imagine how the Canucks could perform that due diligence while Zegras belongs to another club. Suffice to say that the first rounder is the highest price that Canucks could justify paying for Zegras, and that they'd certainly hope to land him for less. Maybe that lesser price is a different first-round pick if the Canucks can manage to acquire one for, say, Thatcher Demko or Connor Garland. Maybe it's next year's first with some heavy protective clauses attached, or maybe, just maybe, the desire for the Ducks to part with Zegras is stronger than we realize, and they'd be willing to accept a lesser package. The Canucks could land him for something like their second-round pick and a non-top shelf prospect. Then we imagine that most would be all for it. It's a price tag that fits the risk attached to Zegras. Anything more than that, and we're not sure Zegras is going to be worth it, nor do we even know how to guess really until we've seen him play a little more hockey. So that is the article about Trevor Zegras, and I will say I'm not warming up to the idea of us trading for Trevor Zegras. I do not like as I mentioned, do not like the idea of trading our first overall pick for Trevor Zegras. I would much rather trade our 15th overall first round pick for, say, Marco Rossi. I'd much rather get a guy like Rossi than Trevor Zegras. When it comes to my board, or I guess rankings, Rossi's at the top, and I still am not really sure who is in, second, third, fourth, fifth. Zegras probably isn't even in my top 5. No. Zegras would be like a last resort, like maybe a 6th, 7th option if everyone's all gone and they can't land, who they really want. He can be like plan D or E. But I want to know what you guys think about this article. What do you guys think about the possibility of Trevor Zegras being an off-season center trade target? Do you guys agree with some of the things that Stefan said in regards to Zegras and maybe about the cost and what the Canucks should give up for someone like Zegras? Or are you like me, who's just like, no thank you. Anaheim, you can keep him or you can trade him to somewhere else, have him be someone else's problem. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think. And as always, if you guys like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you want to stay up to date on all Canucks content, whether that's the Vancouver Canucks or the Abbotsford Canucks, be sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you don't miss a single video. You can find us on social media. Find us on Facebook. Just search The Line Change to find our Facebook page. You can find us on Instagram at The Line Change. You can find us on X at Line Change Van. You can find us on TikTok at the.line.change.po. And feel free to give us a follow on all of our social media platforms. If you prefer an audio version of this podcast, you can find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. On Spotify, feel free, once again, to give us a follow, as well as rate and review us. It is greatly appreciated. But that's going to do it for me in this video. As always, let's go Canucks, and let's go Abby Canucks. Big game tonight. Let's see if they can get it done at home, and I'll see you guys in the next video.